Hi everyone, I'm Angel, and today we will be talking about how teachers can build meaningful partnerships with families and communities of English learners. English learners bring rich culture and verbal assets to our classroom, but these strengths often go untapped when families feel disconnected from the school communities. Our goal today is to explore how culture and verbal responsive family engagement can transform learning experiences for English learners. We will review what research says, why this topic matters for equity and achievement, and practical strategies educators can use starting tomorrow. So let's begin. Here's a quote that I researched, that I read in this article. When schools view parents and communities as as true partners, the results are powerful. Students' achievement improves, schools are stronger, and entire and communities benefits. So let's get to why this is important. But why I feel this is supporting of this quote. Okay, so my research question is how can how can schools create meaningful partnership with both English families and their communities to ensure every student feels seen, supported, and successful? My purpose of my presentation is to explore how important families and communities engagement and chances the education and well-being of English learners. This presentation will examine research on culture and verbal responsive practice that help educators collaborate with families and communities organizations to support English learners' academic growth, language development, and sense of belonging. The goal is to provide practical evidence-based strategies that empower schools to view families and communities as an essential partners in learning process. So let's dig more into it. Why family and community engagement matters for English learners. Why is it important? It's important because we need to build trust and a belonging, improving English learners' confidence in presentation. Meaning, let's give it an example. If students are in the classroom, it would be more easier for them to raise their hand and participate in the activity or the lesson that we're talking about for others to understand, or their classmate, or something that I probably didn't never thought of whatever lesson we are learning about. um, Strengthen homeschool communication, reducing misunderstanding, less missing school, improve academics, achievement, and social emotional well-being, meaning although that we have good grades and we participate in, your mental health is important, your well-being, your health wise is important as well. What we eat. And so, how can we make this important, make this strategize to help improve the engagement with our family and students coming together in the education field? So, we can host a culture responsive family events, not just for parents' nights, but interactive workshops that invite parents to share experiences, stories, and traditions. For example, like storytelling nights where parents and students present family histories can connect literacy to real life experiences. Second, leverage home language, sending bilingual and English newsletters, hosting parent-teacher conference with interpreters, or encouraging students to ensure home language skills in class. Validate students' verbal assets. Third, interrogate families' fund knowledge could mean using a parent budget skills, teaching math, cooking recipes to teach measurements and reading comprehends. Fourth, you can partner with the community organizations, like libraries, culture centers, rec centers, faith-based groups can host events to or provide resource the extended learning outside the classroom, like rec centers, boys and girls club, something that have sports that's outside learning too with your peers, to help with coming together outside the classroom and so forth in the classroom. Fifth, offer flexibility, participation, option, daytime or evening meetings, virtual options, and community site session helps families attending despite work or transportation. Some families may have a hard time with transportation. Some people may take a bus and they parents may get off work at a later age. At a later time. You just never know that what works for them. So we should always have a lot of options for meet up with individual with the family when we're discussing their goals and their work ethic and their participation and what they do at home when they go to home from school. And then also, what can we do to build partnership with English learners, families, and communities? So, we can collaborate through partnership with local organizations. Like I said in the last slide, like rec center, boys and girl clubs, community cheer, like stuff like that. We can build staff, provide professional development on culture, competence, and exclusive communication, meaning like it would be in a professional development setting, something that's very organized, hands-on, safety-wise. Yeah. So to create meaningful partnership with English learner families and communities, schools needs to take intentional actions moving beyond outreach to collaboration. The first step is to adopting what Karen Mapp calls a partnership mindset, recognizing that English learners' families are co-educators who bring expertise about their children learning language and culture instead of viewing family engagement as an event or a one-time activity. Schools must embed it into their daily culture, so it can be a routine and so forth, and maybe they would take that and use that in their real life skills, when they move forward from K through 12 or elementary or middle school or high school. So second, communication must be a two-way and verbal. We have to communicate with the students, with the teachers and the parents. That I do feel like that is very important, which is why I chose this research question. This means more than translated flyers. It's about ensuring families can share their thoughts, questions, and ideas in their home language. Schools can use bilingual and English communities, parent advisories, groups to keep communication active and equal too, So, like I said in the other slides with transportation, if we can't have in person, we have virtual, we have Zoom, we have a time. Like for me as a teacher, I would set a time for any time to help the parent needs or the student needs so they can be a success in their academics and in real life as well. So third, schools should become culture response space when classroom display students' language, celebrate cultural holidays, included family stories, tradition, and lessons. Students feel pride and belonging. These visual and curricular signals tell English learners families you belong here. So yeah, so that's what I was saying about the other slides, what other things we can do to bring families and students together. We can have events that shows other different families' culture and do storytelling and history because there's so many holidays that we may know and when our culture may learn something different of their culture, of their holidays. So, yeah, bridging home and school culture. For many English learners, families, the school system may feel unfamiliar or intimidating. By creating spaces with families, culture, and voices are welcome. Educators educators validate students' identities and build stronger learning communities. This bridge is built through everyday actions, greeting families in their home language, learning about students' background, involving communities, partners who reflect those same cultures. So, engaging in family. So what we can do with engaging is building trust, like we said, building trust, meaning like have events and meetings and be more hands-on, communicate, um, have like different times where you can meet, funds of oh sorry, funds of knowledge, interrogate family stories, home practice, listen into a lesson, use real life experiences for math, literacy, science, Spanish, French, encourage parents to co-teach or you know, parents can definitely help at home, when homework is brought to home from school. It is very important. I feel like teachers can try to encourage parents to help students with their homework or their project or prep for their studying for their tests if they need the help. And yeah, or ask questions. Just be more hands on. We're all a team. We're all going to work together as a community, as a unit, as a whole. Yes, we're all in this together. So the role of a teacher in promoting exclusivities, teacher responsibilities. So modeling respect and empathy. So I think it's very important for us to create a classroom culture with where diversity is celebrated and every student's feel safe and value, collaborate with communities, work with communities, organizations, and families to extend it, learning beyond the classroom, professional development setting. Um, is very important as teachers connecting with the engagement in the communities that we should start with building culture and verbal assets, helping teachers understanding their students' background and home language as well. And then training and fund of knowledge, interrogation, equity teachers to bring families, expertise, and experiences into lessons, making learning more meaningful, making sure that we're happy to be here to learn, to be happy about what we're learning about and what can we use it for tomorrow or the future or for their future or for your future. Because like I said, we are a team, are a whole, and we're all in this together. I feel like educators should also need practical strategies for two-way communication with families, ensuring that interactions are respectful and consistent and accessible in families' home language. Yes, so I do feel like being respectful and consistent is very important when we are in a professional development in the education field, when connecting with the family and the communities to work together so our students can be successful in whatever they do, whether it's in school or in the future of afterlife. When families and communities engagement works, positive outcomes for English learners. So I'm going to tell you, I feel like when we put all these strategies together and what I said in the previous slides, like have events and um, include parents more and talk about what works for the parents' schedule and how can they work at home and what can work here at school. When school truly partners with English families and communities, organizations, students thrive, engagement rooted in a respect language access. We have trust and the culture understanding. We leads to improvement. Attendance would be um, perfect, higher achievement and stronger motivation, effective collaboration, more participation, more teamwork, people participate in the teamwork or group projects, empower both educators and families to support student success together. So yes, we are a team and we are not going to give up on students, as us as parents and as educators. Conclusion and recommendations. Research and practice both show that English learners' student success is strongly tied to family, communities, and engagement. When students intentionally build bridges between home and school's culture, students feel seen, valued, and supported and become successful. Educators must leverage the rich knowledge and experiences that family brings, interrogated, culture responsive practice, and collaborated with communities, organizations, trust a two-way communication to flexible engagement are the foundation of these partnerships. Finally, I feel like professional development ensures that teachers are prepared to implement these strategies effectively and sustainability. By committing to these approaches, schools created learning environment where all English learners can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. So, and here's my works cited. I will be adding more to this where I received these research. And I just want to say thank you for hearing my presentation out. And thank you.